Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3 is getting rescheduled once again. Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighters Rep, where we give you free fights, interviews in the fight game, and fight commentary from the mind of a promoter slash lawyer. You know, I love the heavyweight division, and I especially love the heavyweight division since Tyson Fury, who's basically like this chaotic personification of a tornado, tore through the proverbial Midwestern boring town of Vladimir Klitschko and kind of threw the entire heavyweight division into chaos. Ever since then, we've had nothing but action-packed bouts coming out of the heavyweight division. We're seeing all these new talents come along, and it's just a fantastic division all around and a great thing for boxing and for combat sports in general. Let's not forget the prestige of being called the heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, for a very long time, that was the consensus baddest man on the planet, at least until the UFC came along. And a lot of people would still, probably incorrectly, but still make the argument that that is the baddest man on the planet. But I digress. So here we are on the 30th of September, knuckleheads. It's the 30th of September. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are trying to get to that rubber match. But that rubber band just keeps stretching this way and that away. And first we're being told it's going to happen in October. The fight gets postponed because of the current situation. I don't want to mention it because then YouTube's going to demonetize us. Then it gets sent to December 19th, right? So that was the first postponement. Now it looks like the executives, the head honchos over at Fox and ESPN are saying, hey, we don't like that date for this fight, Bobby. They're talking to Bob Arum. We don't like that date for this fight, Bobby, because we got a whole lot of college football that needs to make up because of this entire situation, and we're going to put it on that date. We don't want that messing with the ratings over here. So we're going to ask that you move that once again. Now, the problem with us being here on the 30th of September and them saying that about the 19th of December is, well, A, the 19th of December is less than 3 months away, knuckleheads. And I'm not saying you need an entire 3-month training camp, but I'm saying when there's this much on the line, this much riding on a fight, I mean, this is high stakes, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3, you're going to want as much time to prepare as possible. And so we're already dealing with a temporal situation of less than 3 months. Basically, 8 weeks and 20 days? Something like that. So basically like 11 weeks what we're dealing with at this point. And the crazy part of the postponement is, or the reschedule, I should say, is they're even considering advancing the fight, meaning it could happen earlier than the 19th of December, which is, pretty crazy, I think, for both fighters. But I think it's especially, if I'm being honest, in this situation, I think it's especially detrimental to Deontay Wilder. I'll explain why. So it looks to me like Tyson Fury, he's the kind of guy who, at this point in his life, because of his mental illness, needs to stay occupied, needs to constantly work towards a goal. And he already flew Sugar Hill out to the UK about a week ago. So, he's on it already. I'm hearing Deontay Wilder's training as well. But who knows? He hasn't come out publicly to say anything. But Deontay Wilder, knuckleheads, let's not forget, regardless of what you believe, regardless of Glovegate, regardless of whatever goofy conspiracy theories you want to come up with, he's the guy that suffered the damage. He's the guy that took the damage both physically and mentally in that last fight. He's the guy that needs to rehabilitate, not only physically because of the beating he took, because of the surgery I believe he had after that fight, but he also needs to rehabilitate mentally, right? And to kind of change the date of the event, the date that you had in your mind of a goal that you're working towards, to change that to an earlier date, I believe is a bit more nerve-wracking than postponing it to a later date. You may have planned your camp already. And, this is especially true if you're injured, you're rehabbing, and you're in a situation that Deontay Wilder's in. So I do think that if they advance the fight, it's definitely going to be detrimental to both guys. But I could see it being slightly more detrimental to Deontay Wilder, who I've gone on the record on this channel of saying should at least take a couple of tune-up fights before this fight happens. Perhaps this is the universe manifesting some sort of situation where they can't agree on a trilogy fight, and where perhaps Tyson Fury heads over there, waits for Anthony Joshua and Pulev to square things away, fights the winner of that while Deontay Wilder is fighting other guys, and then eventually they meet up for the trilogy, because I still don't see a need. Again, maybe you disagree with me, and that's all right. I can't even agree, with my significant other on the flavor of ice cream we like, but I could see this happening and being very bad for Deontay Wilder, or I could see this as a blessing and perhaps turning into a situation where Wilder gets a couple fights in the interim and, it ends up making more sense for him. Plus, like I said before, he'd be coming back to a situation, especially if Joshua gets through Pulev and Tyson gets through Joshua, where if he were to rematch Tyson Fury at that point, he'd be fighting for all the belts. So these are my thoughts on this entire postponement. I think it's a little goofy. I want to hear what you guys think about this fight getting postponed or potentially advanced. Let's call it rescheduled. I want to hear what you guys think and how you think it's going to impact both fighters. Leave it in the comments below. Knuckleheads, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers, so I want to thank you guys. Also, if you haven't already, click the link below. Get your FightersRep gear, shirts, hoodies, masks, tanks, whatever. Not only will it give you supernatural fight game knowledge, but you'll also be helping me not only build this channel, but the only kickboxing promotion that matters. Think of it as a crowd-funded kickboxing promotion where your opinion and your sponsorship matters. Knuckleheads, I'm out of here. Thank you.